Hey guys, so today we have this Lawnboy 10761 that we're working on. Doesn't start, but that's not the greatest of news. Check it out. We have yet another Tecumseh engine. Oh dear. The only difference is this one actually will start and die. Watch, I'll show you. So the air cleaner. Yeah. Nasty. We won't be needing that one. Spray some gasoline down the throat. There we go. Bail. A little smoky. So as you can see, besides it being a little smoky, it does run. Makes me concerned with the amount of smoke, but my bet is on it was tilted the wrong way and some oil has gotten into the muffler. They've overfilled it with oil, or worst case scenario, the rings are gone, which it is what it is. I mean, it is an old Tecumseh engine, but I think there's promise for this one. All right, let's get it inside and get it on the bench. Okay guys, we're back inside, and one thing I really noticed about this, it's filthy. Absolutely disgusting. I mean, just look at this filter alone. This is pretty much the entire state of this mower. It's just a disgusting mess. It's caked in oil and grime. Tons of dirt, debris. I don't know how well this mower was cared for, but with that amount of smoke coming out of it, hopefully it's something easy like too much oil. Because the engine sounded good for that short time that it ran. The engine sounded really good. So I don't think there's any kind of a knock. Unlike that Cub Cadet, unfortunately, that has a little bit of knock. But this one seems to be pretty good. Let's check the oil and have a look. Since we ran it, we'll clean it off. Oh my. Wow. Look at that. That's a lot of oil that's in there. Holy cow. No wonder it's smoking. There's twice the amount of oil that's required in there. That is nuts. Well, that's an easy fix and it explains the oil. And I mean, honestly, the color of the oil is not bad. It's not black. It's actually still got some of that brown color in it, and it's transparent. Either way, this thing's still getting an oil change. Now, I hope that this is not a similar outcome to the last one. This one up here is that one. Terrible, terrible outcome for a mower. Well, I guess let's get started pulling this guy apart. First things first, let's do a quick inspection and assessment on what we're looking at. Well, we already know the condition of the air filter. It's toast. How about the primer bulb? Ooh, she's rock hard. Bet you anything is just gonna come right off. Yeah, that's coming off. Looks like we're gonna be doing another primer bulb. It makes me wonder if there's fuel in the tank. I don't think there was any. I don't remember seeing any. Let's have a quick peek, shall we? I would have to say that's a no. That's a good sign for a change. There's no fuel in there. Well, I'll leave the cap off, that way it can air dry, because it looks a little damp. Hopefully there's no water and it's just old gasoline that's on the edges. Well, this is the bag sensor. If this mower doesn't detect a bag attached, it actually won't turn on. Now there's one thing I've noticed. This shield is off, but it looks like an easy fix. As you can see, there's a 10mm bolt here. Let's just loosen that up, take this shield right off, since we're going to be removing the muffler anyway. Wasn't even on there tight. As usual, I disconnect the spark plug, safety first, and I'll probably forget about it when I go to start it for the first time and sit there and pull it a half dozen times and wonder, why won't it start? Yeah, hey genius, plug it in first. All right, let's take these two 11mm off. That came off nice. Let's check these threads. Those go in nice by hand. That goes in really nice by hand. Good, these threads are nice and clean. Thank goodness someone hasn't gone full send on these. Terrible state of affair this muffler's in. I'm gonna swap this out for the other one that I've cleaned up. And this one's likely full of oil anyway, so it'll likely smoke like a chimney. Well, this is a different design. Look how this intake pipe is. Interesting. Trying to find the date of manufacture for this engine, but I have a feeling it's 2005. Look at this, the oil. Look at all that oil in the exhaust port. That's terrible. That's gonna all carbon up. Let's take off these two 10mm. Take off the safety wire. Now the other 10mm. There we go. It's removed. Take off the air line. Now let's remove this governor arms. Sorry, I got in your way. My apologies. Hey, look at that, guys. Look what I found. A red subscribe button. If you made it this far into the video, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget, give it a thumbs up. Comment below. I love to read your comments, and I try to reply to as many of them as I can, especially the early ones. All right, guys, back to the video. Let's get this governor arm off. There we go. Now the spring linkage. Oof. Yuck. What a mess. There's the spring linkage. Now let's remove this fuel line. Oh, hello, Mr. Spider. You don't need to be in here. Look at this guy. I wonder where he's off to. I know where he's off to. I'm taking him outside. There, let's get this fuel line done. Oh dear. It's nasty in here. Oh, yuck. My apologies if I get in your way. I'm trying not to. There, turned it a bit. Hopefully I can grip it now. There we go. Here it comes. I just don't want to pull too hard because I can see that flying back and maybe smacking something, maybe dropping something. There we go. It's off. Look at that filthy mess. Right, let me get this apart and cleaned up, put in the ultrasonic cleaner, and then we'll take a look at it. But I know everyone wants to see what's inside this bowl. So let me crack this open. 1/2 inch. Just in case there's anything in it. I don't think so, but you never know. Yeah, nothing. There's the bowl nut. It looks really nasty, actually. Wow. I don't know what that green gunk is all over it. It looks really gross. Oof, it smells really bad too. Wow. All right, let's take a look at that bowl. Maybe it's some kind of fuel stabilizer. Maybe they were running 2-stroke. But it's green. Look at that. It's like bright green. Let me turn the camera a bit. There you go. Like I don't know. I don't know what that is. But it's very green. Very strange. It's almost like the color of antifreeze. Very strange. And we got this crap back down here. It's thick jelly. Yuck. It's like oil. This smells like... You think that maybe this was 2-stroke? Maybe they put 2-stroke fuel in this. Considering it's a Lawnboy, thinking, well, we just run 2-stroke. I mean, plausible, explains the green color, and explains this, because it must be sitting for a long time. But why would you put 2-stroke into this? Just because it's a Lawnboy? It even says on there, 4-cycle. 4-cycle technology. It smells like it's old 2-stroke, so quite likely it is. Either way, this should clean up very easily in the ultrasonic. So I'm just gonna pull this apart, and then I'll switch the cameras back on when we're going for the reassembly, because we don't need to see another disassembly of a carburetor for a Tecumseh. If you want to see one, check this video here, and it'll show you a disassembly of a Tecumseh carburetor. There's more of that shiny, crystally, sandy stuff that's on there. Oh, we got another red emulsion tube in there. Neat. I wonder if that other carburetor would fit on this one. Maybe I should try that. Try that other carburetor from the dead mower and clean this one up. Might be an idea. I mean, it is parts after all. All right, I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, well, that's cooking inside the ultrasonic. Let's give this a quick cleaning. Oh, sounds like fries are done. It's funny I say fries are done. I use vinegar to clean all this up. So it's like fries and vinegar, I guess. The vinegar helps break down a lot of the grease. And it won't damage the paint. Then I'll get some WD-40 and we'll get rid of some more of this. Use some of this carb spray, break up some of this heavy grease. You don't want to let carb spray sit too long on paint. It'll fade the paint in no time. It's good to make sure that your mower is pretty clean. That way you don't end up damaging your engine internally and wearing it out, and of course ending its life prematurely. The other side's actually not bad at all. This side's really dirty. This side was definitely the worst of the two sides. Yeah, I'll likely hit this with the pressure washer. That way it's nice and cleaned up, but I'll do that before I get it listed for sale. That way it looks really nice. And then post a picture of it in the community posts so everyone can see it in all its shiny glory. Although not much I can do about that, unfortunately. I mean, maybe I can find this color, a match for it, and sand this down and repaint it. But honestly, it's an old mower. There's going to be some battle scars. All right, that's good for now. Let's go get the carburetor and start assembling that. All right, guys, and we're back, and we've got everything cleaned up. Went for about 40 minutes in the ultrasonic cleaner. The carburetor, it was completely caked in oil and dirt. It was terrible. So I actually gave it a bit of a bath in some old gasoline, scrubbed it off, and it came out fantastic. I also cut off the old primer bulb. So I'm just gonna pop a new one back on. The bowl, it came out great. I needed to give a little bit of scrubbing over here where that green goo was, but it actually came out really good. The intake tube, it actually came out really good. I just brushed it off after the first cycle in the ultrasonic and all the dirt came right off. A little bit of corrosion, but big deal. It's an old mower. The float, it's still staying green. Now let's get this thing back together. Where the fuel inlet is, that's what gets the little ear. These are the 3/8 bolts. Just putting the nuts on, which you hold on by a 7/16 wrench. Just putting them on finger tight just to hold the carburetor onto the intake. Pries are done. 3/8 socket. Tighten it down. And on this side, tighten it down. They do have lock washers, which does help because you don't always need the wrench to tighten it down or to loosen it up. But if it's just spins, then you need the wrench. These ones, they're gripping pretty good. All right, let's get the needle on the float. There we go. All right, let's get the emulsion tube in. To get it seated all the way, just use the back end of a drill bit. They do make a tool for this, but you can use the back end of a small drill bit. And there. I just felt it seat. It didn't really click that time, but it is seated all the way. Okay, and we get the bowl on. Now, the interesting thing about Tecumseh, if you notice here, there's a little bit of a nipple. And if you notice here, there's an indent. Just line those two up, and that's how the bowl gets replaced back on the carburetor. Half-inch wrench. And we snug that down. All right, there we go. Let's get this installed. Primer bulb, retainer ring, 3/4 socket, and of course a hammer. And you basically just hit it flush and square and knock it down. There we go. Seated, perfect. All right, let's get this installed. Okay, there. Get the linkage in the top hole. Maybe in the top hole if it wants to go. Sometimes, well, actually a lot of times it's not cooperative the first time around. Then we clip the spring on this little ear. If it wants to cooperate, It helps if I have the spring the right way around, then it'll cooperate a lot easier. Well, supposedly. Okay, clearly not. Am I stunned? Yes, I am. There we go. Just had to admit it, and then it worked. Okay, I'm not going to bother hooking that on because it's just going to keep falling off. I learned that the first time. Pull these out. Oop. Gasket's coming off. I don't want that. I want the gasket to stay. Let's get the first stud in. Smell. There. Only lightly. Then we can adjust it to get the second screw in. There we go. Of course, unlike that other one, that Murray, this one up here, we're not going to go full send on any of these bolts. That Murray, that whole mower has been cursed. Although there is some news about it, but you'll have to wait for an upcoming video. For now, I'm going to snug everything down to around good and tight, which is usually around hand tight, but is roughly around 60 to 70 inch-pounds. Which is what this is supposed to be tightened down to, and that's the wrong socket entirely. It's supposed to be a 3/8 or 10 millimeter. So actually, let's use a 3/8 on it this time. There we go. That is nice. Not sure where I have my small torque wrench at the moment. Let's get this breather tube on. This is actually a really tight mower to get into because of this shroud, but it does look good. Okay, so let's get this guy on, if I can pick it up. I wasn't expecting it to be this tight back here. I'm so used to all those other ones with the Tecumsehs. They're wide open. Oops. I'm gonna go behind. And of course it falls down. Gonna have a heck of a time with the fuel line, but that's okay. I'll connect the fuel line when we take this off to replace the rope, because unfortunately it's pretty frayed, which means it will likely break soon. So I figured just replace it, get that done. But I do like these handles. These are nice, big, durable handles. I'll give Lawnboy that. Their handles are nice. Except on their old 2-strokes. Those things, terrible designed handles. They're teeny tiny, and their starter on that, it's finicky. And it can cause a little bit of cramping because it pretty much just fits with just these 2 fingers, and that's all you got. And it's a 2-stroke, so the compression's a little bit much because it's every single stroke you get compression. So it's tough. But my kid seems to really like the Lawnboys. He really likes the idea of the 2-strokes because he wants something like this, except he wants the 2-stroke model because then he doesn't have to worry about oil changes. All he has to worry about is the temperature of the engine. That's it. Which, not a big deal. With the proper cooling, they actually run really well, and they can run quite a while at speed. So that's one of the things, because he wants to do lawn cutting on as a summer project of his. Why not? Gives him a little bit of pocket money, and I'm all for that. I'll happily give him 2-stroke fuel so that he can happily go out and do it. But at the same time, I mean, if he ends up with a 4-stroke, all right, then I'll do an oil change for him every week. Anyway, let's get this linkage on. I decided to take it off from the spring and put it on this way. I figure, you know what? It'll probably be easier. And I'm not having to try to stick that stupid peg in the hole. There, which way's the hook on this? That way, perfect. Oops, almost had it. Oh, it slipped off. There we go. Finally, that's together. That was a nightmare. I did salvage the muffler off that Murray, that cursed Murray. I did salvage the muffler after I cleaned it up so nice. These are 7/16 or 11 mil. Just tighten these down. And then we'll go full send and break it down. Right, that'll go over well. Okay, next, the safety kill wire. There we go. That's secured. I'm not going to do the fuel tank because I'm going to use the temporary line. And I'll get one hooked up, a short piece, and put a fuel filter on it. Leave that piece on and then put another filter on this. Red subscribe button is installed. Now the filter, I don't have the air filter for this, the proper one. I do have this one. It's not 100% correct, but I figure for testing, it's more than sufficient. I'll be able to get the proper one on order. But until such a time, I think this is more than sufficient for the time being. And I figured that's better than running no air filter at all. All right, all that's left is now let's get the shroud off. I believe it's 4 1/4-inch bolts. Now, to save time, I'm just going to quickly take this off and then I'll be back with it all done with the new rope on it. To see me change the rope on a Tecumseh, click this link up here and you'll see it. But I have been using a different method lately where I've been burning the rope to stick it together. And if you want to see that method, you can click this link here or the one down below, and it'll take you to a video where I show you how to do that. So I brought this outside to get it all set up, do an oil change outside in nice sunshine, but Sky's not looking too nice, and it's getting a little bit late in the day. So I figure first thing in the morning, give it an oil change and see how it runs. Alright guys, so we're outside. Absolutely beautiful weather out here. And here we are out here to do the engine oil. Isn't that awesome? So first things first is, let me get this oil cap open. Nicely over full of oil. There we go. All right, now to put the tube in, start sucking some oil out. Okay guys, turning on the pump. Here we go. Alright, that looks like that's all of it. Alright, let me just move the siphon out of the way. Okay, I got the extraction pump out. Now let's put in some oil. This engine apparently takes about 630 milliliters of oil, or this many in freedom units. Let me just mark that on here. Oh, my child's home. All right, so here's 630 mil. So that's what we're going to fill this up to. Ah, there goes the child. There we go. There's 630 mil. Now pour it into the engine. I'm going to let that settle and then check to see what the level is. It's important not to overfill these engines. Just on the dipstick. That should be the rest of it. Perfect. Now we'll double check, because if there's too much, we can always suck a bit of it out. I haven't put this back on yet. I just changed the recoil. So we're actually right here on the full line. Only thing left to do, add fuel and try it out. Let me get this screwed down first. This is just those 4 1/4-inch screws. There's one more thing. That air filter is wrong. This one, however, is not. Let's change it out. Oops, that one's going to roll away. Made it halfway down my driveway. Air cleaner on. Proper air cleaner, that is. Fuel line's on. Only thing left to do, let's add fuel in. Try it out. I don't have the handle on and I don't have the safety on. So the only way that I can stop it is I can put these 2 wires together, which is the bag catch safety, or I can pull the plug. I'll probably just stick these 2 wires together, but at the same time I might pull the plug, which is probably not even connected now anyway. Let's get over to the grass and test it out. Okay, we got one last thing to install. The exhaust shield. That's just a 10mm bolt. There we go. Spark plug. Now let's get the gas on. Oh, child's back again. Pouring some fuel. Make a mess. Let's prime it. There's 3 times. So let's try that. I usually prime it more, but that's okay. And let's give it a rip. Start and die, start and die. Try one more time. Come on, baby. Come on. You can do it. Yeah, she's smoking. She is smoking, but I think that's just old oil that was in the exhaust. Let's let it run for a bit. See what happens. See if this all clears up, if the stuttering clears up too. It looks like the smoke's cleared up. I wonder why she's stuttering. This is the card that's still on that I cleaned. I never changed the card. Well, it's been running for a bit. Let's shut it down. Now that's nice and warm. Let's give it another pull, see if it'll restart. Sounds like there's a little bit of a vacuum leak on the exhaust side. There we go, guys. Seems good. It runs. How about that? Finally saved yet another Tecumseh engine. A little bit more work to do. Nothing major. Stuff on the side that I can get done off camera. Maybe re-clean that carburetor, see if I can get it to stop popping. If not, maybe it needs a minor adjustment. It does have one adjustment right on the front of the carb. But aside from that, she runs. And actually it runs pretty darn good. Alright guys, see you in the next one. See? Safety first. Now she definitely won't start.